Today we're making this adorable crab birthday cake. Not to be confused with an actual savory crab cake, this cake is made with delicious red velvet cake layers. These are 7-inch cake layers, and I've trimmed the top one just to help give our crab kind of a rounded top. As always, I'm sticking my first cake layer to the board with a bit of buttercream, and I'm spreading a nice thick layer of buttercream between the cake layers. I've placed my cake layers off center because we want to have room to add on our crab's claws. Once I've crumb coated the cake, I'm taking my cake tops that I saved. I've added about 2 teaspoons of buttercream here, and I'm just mixing until the mixture has kind of a cake pop texture, and it should be easy to handle and have a texture similar to this. And then it's time to shape our crab's claws. I divided this mixture into 2 almost like hockey puck shapes, and I'm cutting a line into them to create each of our claws. After a little bit of extra shaping, they are all ready to go, and we're just going to place these in front of the cake and then pop it into the freezer. These will firm up really nicely once they're chilled. And then it's time to color our buttercream. So I made a little bit of tan buttercream here for the underbelly of our crab, some pink buttercream with just a small drop of red gel food coloring for our crab's cheeks and to accent his eyes, and then we're coloring the remaining buttercream red with a generous squirt of red gel food coloring. A few tips on how to make super red buttercream. The first is to make sure that you're using a good quality gel food coloring. This is Super Red by AmeriColor. I really love AmeriColor and Chef Master when it comes to gel food coloring. I wanted the frosting to be a little bit darker, so I added about a half a cup of frosting into the microwave, heated it for 30 seconds until it was pretty much liquefied. Then I added it back into my buttercream and stirred. This thins out the consistency of the buttercream a tiny bit, but it does deepen the shade, and this really helps. It also helps to make your buttercream in advance, so if you can, let this rest overnight, and I promise you it will get darker in color. Next, we use our red buttercream to cover our cake and our crab's claws. I smooth this out using an offset spatula and also a piece of acetate sheet. An acetate sheet is really just a thin piece of plastic. It works wonderfully on curved cakes like this. I buy them in big 1-foot squares, and I just cut them down into more workable pieces. Then we pipe on the belly of our crab using our tan buttercream. I used a flat frosting tip just to make it a little bit easier to add the frosting and smooth it out, but you could also use a rounded tip. After I used my acetate sheet to get that belly nice and smoothed, I piped on the arms behind our claws and then our crab's legs. Then it's time for our crab's face. I love to trace it out with a scribe or toothpick before I add it on, just to make sure that everything is spaced out properly. And just like that, our crab cake is all ready to go. When I first decided to make a crab cake, I really wasn't sure how I was going to make it cute, but I really love the way that it turned out. And I really love that the red velvet cake layers match the outside, and it's absolutely delicious. If you want to make this cake at home, the recipe is linked below, and until next time, happy baking!